Okay, so the Daily Wire made a video. Why did the left turn against J.K. Rowling?
The Harry Potter book series is one of the biggest franchises in the world. There's a good chance you've either read the books, seen the movies, played the video games, or even visited the real-life Harry Potter world. In fact, at over 500 million copies sold, the Harry Potter franchise...
Who's this? This guy opens the Wii Maker on the Wii and just like looks at the default me and he's like, yeah, that's it. How did they know? He literally is the default me.
The Harry Potter franchise is the best-selling book series in history. But if there's one thing we know, in 2022, nothing is safe or sacred from the left.
In 2022.
And no one learned that harder than J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter books.
Imagine saying this about like a racist person.
While writing the first Harry Potter book, The Sorcerer's Stone, she actually lived off government welfare in a tiny apartment in London. When the book was sent to publishers in 1995, her work was widely rejected until one small publisher picked up the book in 1997.
When was the last time you guys read the Harry Potter books? That shit is fucked. I was reading the Chamber of Secrets. Not very well written. Maybe I'm too nonfiction pilled and I've just been reading fucking really boring books that are like framed very plainly like since college. But like I'm like so confused whenever I'm trying to read that fucking book. Recently learned the goblins are allegedly anti-Semitic. I mean, they're based off of anti-Semitic tropes and they're the bankers. So it's like, even if it is an accident, it's like subconscious in like a weird way that like understandably people are like, huh?
Almost overnight, her books were a colossal success. And over the years that followed, Rowling was almost as active politically as she was artistically. She became well known for her leftist views.
She became well known for her leftist views. Bro, she named a character Cho Chang.
Donating millions of dollars to Britain's Labour Party and speaking regularly about the role government should play in expanding welfare and other liberal policies.
Yeah, but now she's like not that.
She's a self-proclaimed feminist, LGBT advocate.
Not quite, actually. LGBT advocate.
You can probably guess how she feels about Trump too. She's referred to him as a fascist, a bigot, a giant orange egg, and even as the main antagonist of her book series.
Yeah, and like, if you don't like Trump, then that means you're a leftist. You know, famous leftist Mitt Romney.
Conversely, she's praised Hillary Clinton during the election as a, quote, highly intelligent...
That's a great picture. That's really great. They're highlighting the fact that J.K. Rowling is a fucking lib.
And spent the entirety of Trump's presidency decrying his every move, wishing for a, quote, Clinton or Obama in the White House.
This video is crazy. You just keep saying like over and over again all these things that like highlight the fact that like, yeah, liberals fucking suck. Like it just shows that the right doesn't understand anything about liberal policies apart from like Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. Like this guy's got nothing going on in his brain. To him, politics is just Dragon Ball Z, where he has a good guy fighting the bad guy. There's no nuance. Liberals and conservatives materially have so much more in common than this motherfucker even knows.
Her political views certainly carried over to her books as well. Rowling has been infamous for retroactively changing certain parts of the series months or even years after the Harry Potter books were published. Apparently, Dumbledore was actually gay the entire time. I don't know how any of us could have missed that. And Hermione, she was actually black, despite virtually no reference to her skin color or race.
Yeah, frizzy hair. That shit was so funny. Rowling loves black Hermione. What a weird way to say that.
And thankfully, according to Rowling, you won't have to worry about tuition fees at Hogwarts because the Ministry of Magic is happy to pay off your student loans for you.
She didn't say student loans. She just said going there is free. You're also like automatically allowed if you're a wizard.
That's right. It sounds like Rowling's reworked wizarding world was actually quite the progressive paradise.
She has slaves in the series.
Wouldn't they want someone with so much influence on their side? Yes, but remember, to be on the left is essentially to be in a cult. You can't go in halfway. It's all or nothing. Anything they decide goes.
Look at all these leftists. Look at all these leftists.
And when it comes to the left, full commitment to the cult means agreeing with every leftist talking point imaginable, no matter how insane or ridiculous you think they might be.
You can't even address any of this because it's just not serious.
If you don't fully commit, if you're even missing 1% of the leftist ideology in the playbook, then not only are you not with the left, but in their view, you're actively against them.
I just like, what does he think the left is? He's saying like the left who loves Hillary Clinton is mad at J.K. Rowling because she only disagrees with the left on one little thing: trans human rights. Well, that's the only difference between fucking between Malcolm X and J.K. Rowling.
In December of 2019, she took to Twitter to support a researcher who had been recently fired for, quote, transphobic comments. Well, that's the word the media is using. In reality, the researcher had opposed legislation that would allow people to choose their gender legally without actually undergoing a medical procedure. Expressed disdain over the...
Who cares? It would make it so much easier, dude. What is the benefit to lying about your gender? What would you get out of that? He does kind of look like Dream in a weird way. Dream's racist cousin.
While trying her best to appeal to the left in the process, but ultimately, as most arguments with mobs are, it was futile. The second she showed even an ounce of disapproval to the left, especially to the sacred transgender community, she became a target for them, as opposed to an advocate. The Human Rights Campaign
J.K.
and
Rowling
GLAAD heroically condemned Rowling's
got me scowling
anti-science tweet. But where you might expect her to cower before the mob, as so many before her have, Rowling actually refused. She didn't apologize for the tweet. In fact, she doubled down on her statements in June 2020.
It's just like, I know, dude. She's transphobic. Like, you can put the hardest trap beat you want behind this content. It's still fucking mid as fuck.
But shortly after she tweeted that pretending sex and gender are fluid will eventually and inevitably lead to the erasure of women.
Yeah, transgender people erase women. You know, there's no trans women.
She expressed ire with the trans community, a community she said she had allied herself with for decades. In the same tweet thread, she supported, quote, every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them.
And that's the fucked up part that conservatives disagree with. Actually, Hermione's face was described as white, a prisoner of Azkaban. All right, man. She's an incredible role model, overcoming crushing diversity, and wrote my favorite series ever. She got lucky, like overcame adversity. Shut up. I never cared about anything else JK said about her opinions, but I enjoy her work. I always respected her. She clearly knew she'd be getting into hot water over this gender discussion and risk isolating herself, but she did it anyway. She's shown no signs of wavering, and that's what's so infuriating to the activists. Yeah, because she's getting owned every day, dude.
Bro said the left was trying to use the term people who menstruate as a replacement for women. Think about that, huh?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't get it. Yeah, she's a billionaire. Actually, no, she's not a billionaire. She's a multimillionaire. But just last year, her entire fucking IP lost like 40% of its value because she will not shut the fuck up. And the free market is deciding.